All right, everyone. What is up? Welcome back to another education and support group for families, for individuals, for whoever out there that may be listening. This is technically a weekly live stream we do. It goes on for most weeks. And if you're wondering what the topic or the theme or the content is going to be about, it's pretty much for anyone who firsthand or secondhand has ever experienced any type of pain as a result of addictions, mental illness, trauma, or grief and loss. So when you look at it that way, it's pretty much all 8 billion people on planet Earth. And my hope is that the content that you're going to find here, the things you're going to listen to here, is going to add a little value to your life and to your day, and hopefully what I call your healing journey. This is an interactive talk. So for example, when someone says good morning, like Mr. Jim did right there, I could put their comment on the screen. So that also means if you have any questions, you can also ask those questions during this live stream. It's usually about 30 minutes of time together. And so my hope is I can do my best to answer. I know last week we had someone asking about adolescence and marijuana and that kind of stuff. And I did my best to kind of provide some, real-time answers. But quick introduction about myself. My name is Param. I do this out of the desire to help, the sincere desire to kind of make the world a better place. Believe it or not, there's some of us out there that do that. And I have a master's degree in marriage and family therapy, licensed as an addictions counselor. Been in this world of they call recovery since June 13th of 2008. So I have a good understanding on a personal level, professional level, what this whole thing is about. And I'll do my best to translate that over to you guys. And in my family also, just so you guys know, right here, mom and dad popping in. They're good supporters of this and also been in recovery themselves. So for different types of, recovery of just being a human. We're all human beings in recovery, but, codependency and all that kind of stuff. Terry's back. That's good, man. Good to see you. Afternoon, morning, evening. How are you today? I'm glad to be here. Happy to have you, man. I know last week you shared a little bit about your journey, and my hope is you find some value here. So today we're going to talk about this thing called, it's a book, okay? So I'm going to give a book recommendation. And even if you have young children, this book also applies to them. So it's a pretty cool thing. I came across it maybe 7-8 years ago. It's called The Pillars of Success, the 12 Pillars of Success. The quick premise of the book is there's this guy that's driving, a sales guy that's overworked, underpaid, stressed out, got a spouse, really struggling to get by every month. And as he's driving down this windy road, his car breaks down. And he's like, man, why does this always happen to me? And he just gets out of his car and starts walking. And he's walking. He comes across this turn and he sees this majestic house that has these huge pillars in front of it, 12 of them. And it has these beautiful trees and beautiful landscape. And he's like, wow, I've never seen a house like that before. And he walks up to it to see if he can get some help for his car that broke down. And there's a little old man, on his hands and knees with a kind of a gardening outfit on, full of dirt. And he's like, how can I help you? He's like, hey, my car broke down there. I want to see if anyone can here help me. And he's like, well, I know a thing or two about cars. Let me see what I can do. And they go and they figure out the car. He just ran out of gas and the gas tank wasn't working. And the sales guy tells the old man, he's like, hey, who lives in this house? He's like, oh, it's so-and-so. He's like, oh man, is he ever around? I'd love to talk to him. He's like, once in a while he's around, but I've been with him pretty much my whole life. And if you have any questions, I'll gladly answer them for you. So long story short, this relationship gets developed between the sales guy and this old man. The sales guy's always trying to meet the owner of the house, and this old man is always there. And they go over these 12 pillars of success, right? And it's a really beautiful story. And I don't want to ruin the end of it for you, but let's just say that sometimes you don't know who you're talking to in life. All right. We just don't know who we're talking to. So I'm going to go ahead and what's going on over here? We got another person saying hi. Thamara. Hi. So here are the pillars of success. And this is something that you can apply to your personal life, your professional life, your recovery. You can communicate these things with others. And let's go with number one. It says this thing called personal development. So here's what it means. I want you to know the only way things are going to get better in your life, my friends, is when you get better. And you might be saying, no, that's not the way it works. When I'm going to get better is when my circumstances get better or the conditions in my life get better. What do you mean I have to get better? If all that gets fixed, then I'm going to be okay. And some people think that. However, the only way your life is going to get better is when you get better. If you're sitting around waiting for things to change, oh my goodness, you're going to be waiting forever. But once you change, the things around you may change. And if they don't, at least the way you perceive the things around you, it will change. So you have the ability through personal development, through developing yourself, developing your skills, your knowledge, your mindset, developing all of the aspects of self that you know are needed in this thing called life. You have the profound ability to transform your experience in this thing called life. Don't wait for the circumstances to change. What if they don't? Don't wait for that thing that you think when it happens, you're going to be all right for it to happen. Because what if it doesn't? And even worse, what if it does and nothing changes? Wow. You know, so we got some comments here. Vice, I don't know what that means, but hey, good morning. Good to see you here. Jim, I sure had to fix me. Damn right. You know, a lot of people want to fix the world, but they don't want to fix themselves. Isn't that weird? You see that all the time in TV and television. Everything is wrong out there, but they don't want to look inside themselves, their own homes. You know, technically our homes and our communities is what makes up society, right? So society is wrong. I mean, we got to turn the mirror around this way and say, well, what the heck is going on over here? So the next one that we have is this thing called the total well-being. And the total well-being is one of the pillars of success. And here's what it means. It means that us as human beings, we are more than just one dimension. We have three dimensions. Our first dimension is our mind. You know, our mind, the way it interacts, the way it works, the way we think, sometimes the emotions that get triggered through it and all that kind of stuff is our mind. The next one is our physical body. It's this vehicle that takes us to and from places. It's this vehicle that we identify with in this world. It's how we present to other people. You know, it's this presentation. And the last one is our spirit. It's kind of the unknown. It's not the mind and the emotions. It's not the body. It's just something in between. And we all know what it's like. Because if you ever watch something and just got like goosebumps or like your stomach just feels a certain thing, you can't explain it. It's probably your spirit's being tickled. You know, your spirit's being touched. So every day in life, when you get up through that 24 hours, you must do one thing for your mind, one thing for your body, and one thing for your spirit. You got to touch all those dimensions. If you don't, you're going to be off balanced. If you don't tend to one, another one's going to go wrong somewhere. And how do you tend to those things? Well, hey, get up in the morning, do a little work, do a little bit of work on your mind, meditate, read something, have a deep conversation with someone, do something for your body. It could be as simple as walking around the block a few times. Could be as simple as pedaling your feet on a bike a few times. Could be as simple as doing some simple exercises, some stretches. Do something for your body and do something for your spirit. Go help somebody else out. Go give freely of yourself. And you're like, I have nothing to give. Yes, you do. You have yourself. You have your time. You have your essence. You have your presence. Give it to someone. Now, the next one that we have here is our gift of relationships. You know, human beings, we are communal by nature. What does that mean? You look at the history of human beings, we're tribal. We connect. We have community. But sometimes in this thing called life, if you experience trauma, if you experience people violating you, if you experience people, stabbing you in the back, what happens is we start to turn away from this thing called relationships. We're too scared to relate with people. We're too scared to trust. We're too scared to be vulnerable. That's not the way we're wired, though. So what you want to do is find out why. Get to the root of it. How come I do not want that? How come I'm scared of that? And when you do all that, then you want to create relationships. And just like a garden, you want to tend to it. You know, if I put a seed in the ground and say, okay, it's going to turn into a garden. No, it's not. You got to tend to it. And if I tend to it for like 3 months, 6 months, then this beautiful thing gets created. But if I let it go and stop tending to it like a garden, it goes away again. Relationships are the same way. Sometimes people say that person is my friend or that person is my brother or my sister, but they never talk. So they only exist inside this thing called the mind, but in reality, it's not really the case. In reality, the only relation that exists there is a relation between the last names, or the blood we share. because what is not expressed doesn't exist. So if you don't communicate and tend to these relationships, they don't really exist. It's a delusion to think they exist, right? So it's very important to address that. What do we have here? Oh, good. John, JD back in the house over here. That's cool. Gym, meditation, yeah, Alan, all those things, man. Gym or meditation is a wonderful way. How about this? Gym and meditation. When you're at the gym, when you're in between sets or when you're all done, maybe find 5 minutes to do some meditation. That way you can hit both of them in a good way. Now, the next one that we have here is setting and achieving goals. So a lot of human beings have goals that are very short-sighted. Their goal could be for that specific day. I need to go to the grocery store. I need to go do my laundry. I need to make this phone call or pay this bill. We all kind of have these goals, or else what the heck are we doing all day? And some people have goals that go a little bit beyond that. By the end of this month, I want to do this, or by the end of this month, I want to do this, or maybe even by the end of this year, I want to do this. So those short-term goals are something that a lot of us do, yet for some reason, we fail to get to the ultimate destinations in our life, the places that we're trying to head to. You want to know why? Because you don't set long-term goals. And you want to know why most people don't? Because in their life growing up, maybe there was dysfunction and nothing ever worked out the way it was supposed to work out. So they kept getting the rug pulled underneath them, or the other shoe kept dropping, and they're like, see, I told you, it doesn't work out that way. So they're terrified as adults to set long-term goals. What if I told you most people that succeed in life, they look beyond right here? They live in the present, but they imagine, they visualize the future. Take direction one day at a time, one step at a time, right here, right now, headed towards something big for themselves. And the only way you'll ever change the future, my friends, is if you change the present moment. If you don't change the present moment, whatever your past was like, look back at your past and think about it. That's on you. Now, lock it in. If it was good, then keep doing what you're doing. If it was bad, then change what you're doing right here, right now. Because if you don't, that past that's bad will be your future, and your future will be bad again. Simple as that. Let's see. I'm in a relationship for 29 years, and communication is really there right now. I have to focus on my recovery. I do believe this, Terry, that human beings, we need to always focus on our recovery. So what I mean by that is, if your recovery, and let's just say it's from substances, if your recovery helps you be clean and sober to be able to communicate to your loved ones, if you love somebody you're in a relationship with for that amount of time, if you don't have recovery in your life, you're never going to be able to express the love you have for them or show the love you have for them, because we know what happens. And that person, by the way, is left feeling that you don't care or love them because you're not showing up. So I always say, put our recovery above those in life we love, because without it, we can't love the ones we love the way we want to love them and the way they deserve to be loved. And Jim, yes, past was our biggest motivation, man. You look at that past and say, I don't want that. Nope. I don't want to live there. I don't want to experience that. What do I have to do to change that? And that's kind of what we do one day at a time, through a process of steps, through a process of people and communities, through a process of commitment, willingness, honesty, open-mindedness, the essence of how we transform. So the next one that I have here is the proper use of time. This one's important in success, because people that are I'm not saying you got to be very, very strict on time, like so rigid that you have no room for flexibility, but you better honor and cherish that thing called time. You better know its value. You better not waste it. It says most people major in minor things. What are minor things? Things that don't matter a week from now, a month from now, a year from now, 10 years from now, or God, 100 years from now. People put all their time, energy, effort in. Like, people get into other people's drama, right? Like, that is the most minor thing that you can major in. Some people just waste this precious thing called time as if it's like limitless. I know adolescents, they're completely in denial about like how life works. Children, they just don't get it yet, but adolescents think they do. That's the difference. Children don't know, they don't think they do. Adolescents think they know it. And they just think they're invincible and this life just goes and goes and goes. If you still think that way, you really want to ask yourself why, because I don't know about you, but the last time I checked, this life moves really fast. I mean, it's 3 months this year already gone. And you know, by the time December comes, all of us are going to say, how did it get December already? You know, how did it get so late so soon? So my friends, make sure if you have time in a day that you use it properly. The next one is surround yourself with the best people. You know, Henry Ford at some point said, I'm definitely not the smartest person in the world, and I definitely don't have the answers for everything. But guess what? I'm going to surround myself with the smartest people in the world that are going to know the answers to everything. So if I don't know it, I'm going to know someone that does. You know, and surrounding yourself with the best people, here's how you want to know what's the best. So first of all, let me say this. We don't want to judge. Judgment is not a good thing. Anytime I catch myself in judgment, it has to do something with my false pride, something with my ego, something thinking that either I'm better than or worse than something or someone. So it's not good. And even in 12-step programs, you know, they say, hey, make sure that you don't judge others. You know, love and tolerance is our code. Don't judge people. But 2 minutes later, what do they say? Hey, make sure you only stick with the winners. So if someone tells you to stick with the winners, what's happening? By default, we're learning that the other people are losers. No, that's not the case. So I believe all people that decide to change their life, I believe they're all winners. I genuinely do. I just believe some people aren't ready right here, right now, to tap into their potential. Because some of the quote unquote losers that I've met in my life, 2 years later, 5 years down the line, became the most remarkable human beings. They just weren't ready at the time. So it's not a judgment thing, but you want to surround yourself with the best people for you right now, not the best people in general. And hey, got some buddies here, Jim. That's funny. So here's how you know if people are the best people. You ready? Who am I around? You want to ask yourself that question. The people that you're spending your time with, who are they? Who are you around? What effect are they having on me? Yes, the people you spend your time with have an effect on you, good, bad, and different. They either add to your life, they're either an addition or they're a subtraction. Think about it. What have they got me reading? You're like, reading? I don't have time for that. Well, you know, people in life either suggest things to people to read or to watch or to listen to that level them up. If there's no recommendation or suggestions about that going on, you got to ask yourself why. Where do they have me going? Man, we do become a product of the places we go, people we hang out with. What do they have me thinking? You know, the higher vibration of people that we spend our time with, the more they have us think on higher vibrations. It's not a hippie thing I'm saying, you know. So, for example, if I like to have deep conversations and I'm hanging out with people that don't, I do not have my deep conversations. I have to suppress. But if I hang out with people that do, I get to show up and talk. And guess what? In that deep conversation, my thinking changes. So what do they have me thinking? And last one is, what do they have me becoming? Most people don't think about what am I becoming in this moment right now? What am I going to become in the next moment? The people you spend your time with really dictate who you become in this life. And if you don't believe that, just take a look and see. And people are like, hey, no, it's not the case. You want to know why? Because they don't even hang out with anybody. Nothing, no one around them. So they don't even know the power of surrounding yourself with people and what it could do. Good morning to all the people saying hi. Nathan, Jada, good morning, guys. So the next one we have here is to, nope, wrong one, is to be a lifelong learner. It says that most of life's learning happens after formal education ends. So many of you have maybe gone to high school or college. I'm telling you this, when that ended, that's when your true learning begins. Because that's not really learning, man. You're shielded, you're guarded. Your whole life experience is to go to school and come back home. Right? I'm not saying we don't go through stuff. We go through life challenges and experiences, all that kind of stuff, but we don't really understand that we're learning from those experiences until we understand later on that what did I learn from that? And that's where the process happens. And that's why continuous lifelong learning is important in general. Like, when's the last time you learned something new? I don't know. When's the last time you did something new? When's the last time you did something for the first time? I always love that question because it's so powerful. When is the last time you did something for the first time? Some people got an answer for that. Some people don't. Let's see what we got here. We got hang out with my kids. That's a good thing to do. You want to, but here's the thing, Alan, it's wonderful for your kids to hang out with you, but you want to also hang out with people that motivate you, inspire you the way that, you're doing for your kids. You want to find people that do that for you. You don't want to be the apex of any type of social connection. You always want to be with people that you either look up to, inspired by, can learn from, the way that your kids are doing the same thing with you. Following the feet and the mind will follow. Damn right. That is the truth. I had the desire to stop using, but now it's a want opportunity. I focus on today, not yesterday or tomorrow, 24 hours at a time, and fix expectation strength. Yep. Well, I'm glad you enjoy my message. My message is the message that's come before me, right? In the same way, you've probably learned some things that have come before you. And it's really cool because when you want recovery versus everything, we all need it, right? There's a lot of people that need recovery. I learned a lot of family members here that need recovery and understanding, like Al-Anon and codependency. They all need it. I know I needed it. Sometimes I still need it. But do you want it? Do you want it? That's the difference. Do you want this thing? Because if you know you need it, but you don't want it, good luck. You know how many people need to eat better? You know how many people need to exercise? You know how many people need to be more patient, loving, tolerant to other people? You know how people need to go clean inside their house and their rooms? And they don't, because they don't want it, right? They don't want it. The next one here that we have is to understand the power of communication. I believe that words are transformative. Words are powerful. Words can help people heal. Words can also hurt somebody. I'm going to give you the biggest lie we've ever been told in American society, and this is a lie we tell the kids. So, Alan, make sure you don't tell this to your kids. The biggest lie we've ever been told goes as the following. Sticks and stones may break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That is the biggest BS I've ever heard in my life, because as you human beings know, as you adults know, there have been some words that have been said to you at some point in your life, whether you were little, medium, or big, that destroyed you, that ripped your heart apart, that made you feel this small. And they have the audacity to tell us that words will never hurt you. Like, come on. If a stick or stone breaks my bones, I'd love that way more than when a word penetrates my heart and soul, because there's casts for that. There's physical therapy for that. What cast do you put on a broken heart? How do you mend a broken soul? So don't ever tell that lie to people. Words matter. The next one says being a great leader. Some of you might be thinking to yourself, how can I lead? I can barely figure out my own life. So I did this talk earlier this morning with our program participants. And I said, hey, if you've been here for a week and you're starting to get comfortable now, and someone just walks in, maybe for the first time that they're far away from home, maybe they're missing their kids, maybe their spouse is serving them some papers, for divorce, maybe they just lost their job, maybe they, are just struggling in life, and they come in here. You can walk up to that person and say, hey, my name is so-and-so. It's nice to meet you. Let me show you around a little bit. Let me introduce you to this person. This is where we go do this. This is where we do this. This is where the laundry is. You could lead a human being even when you feel like you have nothing to give. And that's the beauty of it. When you see someone in life that has been in a place that you've been, even if that place was just a day ago, you have the ability to lead. I hope you never forget that, because it's a lesson that is very important in life. Let's see what we got here. I like the fact that I can repair. Absolutely, Marcus. We can repair. And I can't repair a soul. I don't want to put the word can't in there. And I'll tell you why. You're right. When the soul gets hurt, when the soul gets wounded, there's a certain feeling that happens to us. But there are words and sayings, like our darkest night becomes our brightest treasure. There's a saying by a Persian poet that says the wound is where the light enters you. So when our soul gets hurt, and trust me, man, my compassion goes out to you, because I bet something happened to you. You got to see, how does that painful experience uniquely qualify you to be able to use that experience to do something, whether for yourself or other people. And when you understand that, that's where the soul starts to mend and heal and repair. Because if we don't do that kind of stuff, you're right, it's hard to walk around this life with a wounded soul. But I do believe our soul has ways to nourish itself. And that usually comes from connecting to other people and helping them in a time and situation in their life that we know far too well what it felt like. That's just my opinion. Words are more powerful than someone's physical strength. Absolutely, man. 100% I believe that, Alan. What do we got here? We go back to comments. Almost done. Pain is a great motivator. That's awesome. Yeah, it is, Jim. And Marcus, you're welcome. Anytime anyone asks any questions, I'll answer. And Jim, pain is a great motivator. I do like the quote too. I know you subscribe to that pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. I do believe that some people, the pain they experience in their life, we can't avoid it. It happens to all of us. But the suffering that ensues after it, in the beginning, it's hard to. But once the suffering goes on for days, weeks, months, years, decades, at some point, we got to ask ourselves, the wound happened then. Why am I still allowing it to suffer my experience, my existence? Like, when am I going to start healing? Because the good quote I like is, if you don't heal from your past wounds, you bleed all over people who didn't cut you. Yeah, you're welcome. It's Marcus, I'm glad the universe brought me to you too, so keep coming back. Yep, the cure for the pain is in the pain. Look at that. I got Alan. That's pretty cool. From Oklahoma. Who would have thought? A Persian poet thousands of years ago said a poem. I sent it to this guy named Alan, who's from Oklahoma. And Oklahoma Alan still remembers that freaking quote. That's awesome. That's life for you. And the very last one is to leave a legacy, my friends. We are in this world a short time, right? Fucking 80 years if you're damn lucky. 90 years if you're really lucky, right? 70 years if it's average. I get it. It's going to end and it's over. And at some point, we're just this dot in this thing called life, the way 10,000 years of human recorded history have gone by. But the life you live, the way you live it, who you are, the things you do, the things you don't do is impacting the world around you in this moment as we speak. When we're gone, whoever is left around is given the legacy of who you are as a human being. I can't choose how you live your life. I can't choose what you do or what you don't do. However, just think about the fact that who you are matters and what you do matters in the lives of others in this world we live in. How do you want to be remembered? Who do you want to be remembered as? What's important to you? What's not important to you? Live a life based on your legacy that you want. We all have it. You're all going to have it regardless. You might as well put your stamp of approval on who you are and how you lived your life from yourself. Don't let other people define who you are. Don't let other people create this narrative of who you are, especially if you have a mask on and they never got to know you. Write your own legacy. First narrative. Show the world who you actually are. And guess what? I can't wait for you to surprise some people. If you lived a certain way of life up until this moment, you say, you know what? That's not who I've been. There's someone else I want to be. There's someone else I need to be. There's a legacy I need to write. God, I hope you write it. I hope you write the rest of your story in a way that one day you look back and say, thank God I changed that thing around. And if you do that, you'll kind of go to the eternal bliss with a smile on your face. And if you don't, you're always going to wonder why. So all I got here is, so for those of you who are new to this channel, feel free to come back every Saturday. We do this around 9:15 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Marcus, if you're new, you can go and look on our same YouTube page that you're on. Go under the live tab. There's probably 4 years of videos like this. So if you ever are in a bind and you don't want to wait till Saturday and you want to go watch something, go watch those. They're helpful. They're beneficial. Long story short, love and appreciate all of you. I will see you back next week, same time, same place. Have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everyone. Bye-bye.